comment. This article comes from Den of Geek UK. The modern DVD and Blu-ray market? Well, it's all so corporate, isn't it? No slight on the releases, or the companies involved, but I don't think anyone gets a frisson of excitement when they see a Warner Bros. Home Entertainment logo on a box, in the way they used to when the Medusa logo popped up. And whilst there are firms such as Arrow and Eureka keeping the flag of quirky film companies flying, there are still a few names consigned to the VHS recycle bin, whose story is in danger of being lost. Hence, this article. Tartan Video. For a long time, along with Artificial Eye, Tartan Video was one of the most prominent releases of world cinema in the UK. In the 1990s in particular, its commitment to releasing a breadth of titles from around the world was appreciated. These were the days before DVD and internet shopping broadened the accessibility of world cinema. Furthermore, it regularly did battle with the BBFC to try and get films released intact. Tartan was an active champion of the likes of Audition and Oldboy in the UK. Tartan struggled though as the 2000s wore on, and things came to a head one day in the summer of 2008 when staff turned up at the firm's London office to find the doors locked. Tartan had gone into administration. In the resultant sale of assets, Palisades Media Group picked up the name and the library of films, and Palisades Tartan was born. The golden era of Tartan Video was, however, over. Revolver. For just over 15 years, Revolver Entertainment was distributing films in the UK. It kicked off with home video releases, and then gradually moved on to theatrical work. But its foundations remained in the home entertainment market. Titles released under the Revolver name were rarely high profile, but this was a label that would give exposure to smaller titles, of mixed quality. Unfortunately, following layoffs at the start of 2013, the UK arm of the Revolver Group hit significant problems, finally entering administration in April of that year. The Revolver name continues in the US, but it's lost from UK shop shelves. Cinema Club. CVCI. First Independent. A briefly prominent name in the 1990s, and a successor to the Vestron Video name, First Independent released titles such as Misery in the UK on video. It also put out New Line Cinema titles up until the mid-1990s. However, First Independent was sold to Columbia TriStar Home Video in the mid-1990s, and whilst the name continued for a while, it was soon shut down. The last release bearing the First Independent moniker was released in 1999, before off the name went to the Great Video Graveyard. Polygram. Toward the end of the 1990s, Polygram was an entertainment force to be reckoned with. Its music operations were sizable, it had a growing library of successful films, and videos such as Four Weddings and A Funeral and Spice World were big sellers. Those limited edition Spice Girl tins for the Spice World movie? You can thank Polygram for those in an era where the steelbook was a glint in video distributors' eye. Polygram was also distributing Coen Brothers movies, stand-up comedy, classic movies, and the European giant, founded by Siemens and Philips initially, attracted the interest of Seagram as a consequence. Seagram owned the group that also featured Universal Pictures, and as such, after purchasing the company in 1998, it merged its operations into Universal. Seagram was then sold quickly to Vivendi, and Polygram Filmed Entertainment, along with its video arm, became Universal entities instead. This would have knock-on effects for CIC Video, who were coming to shortly. The Polygram name has now been revived as part of the Universal Music empire, but its film days are behind it. Optimum. Springing to life in 1999, Optimum Releasing oversaw the UK distribution of theatrical releases, DVDs, Blu-rays, back catalogue titles and world cinema releases. It grew quickly too, releasing hundreds of films between its formation and 2011. Optimum was picked up by Studio Canal in 2006, though, yet it kept its name for a good few years after that. The switch finally came in 2011, when Optimum releasing was no more, and titles now come with Studio Canal branding instead. Still plenty of them though. Medusa. The excellent Viva VHS site does far more credit to the work of Medusa Home Video than I ever could, right here. Medusa became a very notable and much-loved label for genre fans, with its releases rarely troubling the inside of a cinema. But as niche labels often did in the video days in particular, it gave exposure to films that otherwise would have been very, very tricky to find. Horror, and films with Roman numerals in the title, became key fodder. Naked female flesh seemed to regularly find its way to its video covers as well. But in the midst of that, Medusa put out movies such as Roland Emmerich's debut, Moon 44, the Michael Caine headline Day Shock to the System, and Reanimat.